getting to your question about the difference between a small family builder compared to a project builder is massive here. Like there's so many things like customer service. You're dealing with myself and Louise. You're dealing with Dean and Shannon. Like that is a big difference on project builder, because when you go to a project builder, you're just another number in the process.
It's more personable, I think,
Yeah.
with a smaller boutique business, and I think that family business as well. It's more relatable, and we've got more emotion, I suppose, in it. Whenever it comes to working with clients.
Thinking about building or renovating? Or maybe you are already knee-deep in a project now. Are you feeling unsure of which steps to take and if you are making the right calls? You're not alone. Welcome to Builders Beyond Borders, the podcast where experienced Aussie builders share real stories, insider tips, and practical advice so you can build with confidence, avoid costly mistakes, and actually enjoy the journey. Let's dive in.
Hi guys, here with another podcast for Builders Beyond Borders, and today we have Andy and Louise from Perway Construction Services all the way over in WA.
Hello.
And myself and Shannon from DJH Builders in the north of Tassie. Today we were going to talk about the dynamics of a husband and wife team in the construction industry and what that entails and what benefits it has for the client. So we've been running our business now for 13 years and we've seen quite a bit together. Shannon, I used to do everything myself in the early days, and then, basically Shannon has really evolved the team and the dynamic of DJH Builders to work as throughout the whole business, really, and has taken her on as the business manager. So
Shannon's the boss there, Dean, isn't she? Really,
definitely the boss. Yeah,
Yeah.
Shannon's come over and taking it all under her wing.
yeah.
Well, that's what I imply. I'm the boss here, and
Well, if anyone's listening, I have to say that because exactly like you, Dean, we started out my business 7 years ago now as a building business, and Louise jumped in also behind the scenes with us. But getting to your question about the difference between a small family builder compared to a project builder is massive here. Like there's so many things like customer service. You're dealing with myself and Louise. You're dealing with Dean and Shannon. Like that is a big difference on project builder, because when you go to a project builder, you're just another number in the process.
It's more personable, I think, with a smaller boutique business, and I think that family business as well. It's more relatable, and we've got more emotion, I suppose, in it. Whenever it comes to working with clients, that I feel like that there's more of a current nature with a family-run business than there would be with a large corporate business.
And plus cost too with a smaller boutique builder, like our companies, we're going to be a bit more expensive compared to a project builder, because a lot of the project builders like square meter rate, this is the rate.
But then it's not, it just depends on what it is, you know what I mean? So, I think that can be very, it's varied on what that looks like.
And going back to what you were saying, Louise, about being a like a family-based business, we also have our employees and team in mind, where a lot of the larger sort of volume builders and things, they probably don't focus on that. They may have a direct team under them, but I know what it's like down here. A lot of it's all subcontracted out to the cheapest, framing carpenters that come in and do that part, the cheapest concreters that do their part, and it's not really concurrent with a family-based business. So
what do you see as the benefits? Like I think there's pros and cons to both. Do you know what I mean? I think there's pros and cons to having a family-run business versus a larger corporation. Like, what's some of them that you see? So we've got some as well that we got through from this morning, even. So
right. I think it comes down to cost for the volume builders. Someone who is trying to get into the market and get their first home and try and do a house and land package. That's something that we would never offer. But for someone who's, probably in their mid to late 20s or whatnot, starting a family, shoestring budgets kind of thing, I think that's where they have a definite niche in the market because they are able to spread their profits out to a minimal, but also their planning and overhead costs are less because they do turn over so many more projects than what we can.
I can see your point in that, like that. Yes, it can be a cheaper way to enter the property market. However, on the other flip side of it is that, and this is obviously not tarring all of them with the same brush, but I find that a lot of them and people that we hear from is the quality's a lot lower. So, yes, you might enter and get a cheaper house to begin with. However, there's more defects, or there's more, things fall apart. The quality's not there. So people are replacing things a lot sooner than what they would do with I'm going to say a more small boutique builder who might have that more focus on that quality and focus on that project. So yes, I get your point that they can definitely be very competitive and helping first time home buyers in, but then long term costs, I don't know whether that still equates. That's my opinion, what we see here. So
and same with us, like we're called out where we get jobs for maintenance for these newer properties that have only been built for 5 years, and already they're needing to have things looked at and checked. So you're paying smaller amount up front, although it can be hidden in variations and changes. Anything you make costs a fortune, but also down the track when the quality was not quite there at the start and you're then having to replace or
things like some of the bathrooms that we've had to do in the last 12 months that have been in properties that are only 10 or 15 years old too. So there's no liability or no course of action to come back at the original builder once it gets out to that sort of age, but there's some pretty shonky ones too.
And the other thing is, remember we were speaking with the building consultant a couple of weeks ago, and she was telling us that she would work in display homes, and again, a lot of those volume project builders will have the bigger, display homes to choose from. But when people walk in and they're like, "Wow, look at this, is amazing," and I want to have everything here, but they the marketing is set at like, you build your display home from like whatever $350,000, but that's not build your home from 300 to 350,000, but it's not exactly what's everything that's in the display home. You're getting your standard, very basic build, like really low budget, kitchens, finishings, fixtures, things like that. And it's like, well, if you want to have this display home and everything that's within it, you're looking at an extra 150, 200,000 for everything that's in that. So do you know what I mean? It's like that. Sometimes I think the transparency,
definitely,
the costings and everything with the volume builders isn't there either. So
and the size of the property too. So people don't realise what that actually entails. You're probably looking at a 15 square house for house and land packages that do start at that 350,000 or so. But from what our local market around here now, there's not many homes that are under 20 building squares sort of these days. That's the average now.
I don't know about you guys, but when I get very personal when I come into people's houses, I give clients hugs and everything. Like, it's just when people pay Perway to come in, like I really want to know that I have their back, and when stuff comes up, and it does come up, there's no builder out there that does a perfect project. There's items that come up, and some clients, all they want to do is be heard, either through a text message, WhatsApp, video. That's what we do, Dean and Shannon. But like this morning, I just went down to my guy's site, and he just wanted to be heard, and he wanted to know what was happening inside the job that we're on, because the job wasn't done right. And
previously it wasn't
done right previously. And I just took a few videos, came down, showed him the process. This is what's happening. By the end of the day, this is happening. He's like, "Andy, thank you, much appreciated." And some people just don't want to do that. And that's when the confrontation comes up with clients. With some builders not able to handle that. They do a great service and they do a good build, but it's when the drama comes up, people want to run away, Dean. So and Shannon, they want to put their head in the sand, go, "Oh, there's a mistake here."
And that is the benefit with the husband and wife team as well, because we have the advantage of if Dean's struggling to get, or if I'm struggling to get the message through to a client at a certain stage, it can be the matter of just Dean stepping in and repeating exactly what I've said in a different way. And they go, that makes sense. Like it's just bouncing those ideas, and things don't go perfectly all the time. Like communication's a big thing, and we all communicate differently, and we meet our clients and we try to be the best fit and communicate, be as transparent as we can. But sometimes ideas get mixed and clients can get stressed, and it might just be that other person coming in and going, I know Shannon's, explained this to you. I just want to clarify this with you and come around this angle and just give them a different perspective. And they go, I feel that makes me feel better, makes me feel more comfortable.
Yeah. And that's as well on that, Shannon, like that's where the beauty of the family business as well is that if people are calling, they're only really going to get the hierarchy of things is myself or Andy.
Yeah.
It's not, in the bigger building businesses that they have to go through, maybe the sales rep and then the supervisor and then the project manager. You're never really going to get to that top person to help resolve the issue. Whereas you're coming direct literally to the people that own the business, that are passionate about their business, that want to do the best for that customer. So, it's going to definitely be resolved, if there is any issues, in a lot quicker time frame and in a better process as well, that I think,
Yeah, that people aren't sitting down with the board of directors and all their shareholders, whichever countries that they're in that own these companies. They're not getting those guys. They're getting not even the middleman. They're just the project supervisor to talk to and try and sort these issues out, where we have an emotional connection with our clients from the first phone call, from the trio setup that we have. They're talking to Shannon straight away. So she's the first port of call when people talk to us now. So
I think you are, Andy. Are you on your side? You do your initial calls, Andy?
Yeah, I take all the calls, the 15-minute calls, just to make sure I'm answering all the questions, and then I'm educating them on our process. And people love to know that I'm the point of contact and I'm taking that first call. So they're like, wow, I'm actually talking to the builder. Now, it's just a process to figure out in that call to find out if we can assess them and help them. That's where it is. And I think you're the same, Shannon.
Yeah, that's right. Sure. Yeah, it's just that initial conversation, finding out what they're after, what their experience is, depending on the size of the project. There's different questions asked, and then just no pressure, and just to, let's book a time to meet with Dean. Let's see if we're the right fit for each other, and just.
But on the flip side of it, we had a message from a prospect this morning, and she said, within our system, to pre-book that first call with Andy. Sometimes that there is a bit of a waiting time. So this is probably the downside of working with a family business. But because it's more personable and because you are speaking directly with Andy, you may have to wait a little bit longer. So we had a message from someone that was frustrated this morning. They had just initially sent their questionnaire this morning to us, or their initial inquiry. And then we sent them the calendar link to book the next call. And the next call is the 7th of March. So that's next Wednesday. And they were really frustrated. They said, oh, look, I just want to get some information. I'm speaking to other builders in the meantime. And for us, it's like, that's okay. We're more than welcome to go to speak to other builders. You may get a different experience with them, but because it does take time to speak with us sooner, because we've got other clients coming through as well. Andy's working on other projects, and there is a bit of time to wait. But when you do wait, and it could be 1 day, 2 days. We've also acknowledged we have a public holiday and there's the weekend in between that, so it's not always straight away that day. But sometimes there is availability, but it's just to acknowledge that. But when you do speak to wait to speak, you're speaking with Andy directly, and you're going to get all of that relevant information straight away. It's not that like you might speak to other builders, but you may get their sales rep. You may get then someone else that you're not getting that potential direct professional knowledge. So so that's a little bit of a difference in that. Yes, you do work with a family builder. Things may take longer, but at the same time, you're still going to get that more, you're going to have a quality experience with them.
Exactly.
Yeah. On the other end of the scale too, there is the sole trader builder as well. who may run the whole show himself. They can be the polar opposite to what we do. That can be very hard to contact. They may not come back to you and things like that, where the sort of husband and wife teams that work on their businesses, well, I think we find ourselves a lot more accountable and can bounce stuff off each other. There's, if there's an issue, there's something comes through on the phone or email. It's like, oh, have you seen this? Because perhaps I'm out at site talking with a prospective client or one of our clients, and then I can miss stuff. It's easy, or I miss a phone call or a text message or the work Facebook page or Instagram or something like that. You get bombarded with all these things. It's handy to have that other point of contact as well. So
which is funny. It's just funny. It's making me laugh because there's been times that we'd be ready to go sleep at night. And then you would be like, Andy, did you email that person or did you get back to that person? So that's the benefit you're going to get, a work day that's probably from maybe 5:30 in the morning right up until about 11 o'clock at night.
At night, exactly.
There's that backwards and forwards that there have been times going, oh my goodness, have we, keeping that accountability. Have you called that person or did you do this? Put that on the list for tomorrow.
Totally.
Another employee. Well, you hope not.
Constantly emailing yourself reminders of things.
Yeah.
But also like with the going back to the getting someone straight away, and that's just those hurdles that we put in place. Like nothing is a rush, and I know people just have the urgency, but there's so many different components of doing a renovation or extension that there's so many more hold-ups along the way. But also that they're sometimes doing a husband and wife, we are so conscious of our overheads that a receptionist is going to make the client's job more expensive. And is it relevant? Is it necessary? So it's and I think a lot of people expect that with builders, that they're not going to get someone straight away, and it's important that the time is taken for them. So just like the time is taken for you, Andy, between now and next Wednesday for your current clients and giving them the best experience they can have. Like that's why there's always a reason that things flow like they do in a small business like these.
Yeah, I'll just share a little story because I like stories, because people, if they're listening to the podcast, they can actually visualize this. So the client rang me on Australia Day, booked the call, had a chat with her when I was at the kids' park with her, and I said, I'm at the kids' park. She booked in. I met her there about a week and a half ago. So she wanted to do a bathroom renovation in an older house and high ceiling suds room. It was quite a large project. But I dived in and asked her a lot of questions first. Said, just tell me what we're doing here and tell me, is this your forever home? And in them two questions, she said, no, I'm moving out in 2 years. I just said, please don't waste your $50,000 to $60,000 there. Yeah. And she just went, wow. And I just said, this is my job, is to come out and ask you all these questions to figure out if this is possible. And she was blown away. She's like, holy God. I said, this is so good to know. Now, other companies like, well, I need that job. Let's get it in. Let's get it through. Literally 3 months of prep work, getting all the job organized, and maybe 6 weeks of work. So she saved herself all that heartache and the journey.
Exactly.
You have to figure out her why, really.
Her why,
it really has to know what the end goal was. And the end goal was to move out. So what's the point in invest in what she wanted to do? It wasn't going to give her that return on investment before she moved.
Yeah, exactly. Just some advice, like just like that, saved her all that money in just an instant.
We've had the exact same conversations with clients about projects like this as well. So,
it's crazy. Sometimes people just need someone to say. We had one recently, didn't we? A garage conversion into a little granny flat for a family member, and it was just bigger than Ben-Hur once Dean looked at the nitty-gritty of the engineering and the plans and things, and then just suggested to her, I know you've spent this much. It was a pain point. She'd spent so much on the plans and engineering.
And taken about a year to get it through council because it wasn't coming up with a certificate of likely compliance, and then the draftsman had to change all the plans again, and then, it just dragged out for them, which in saying that, it's another one we've done the other episode about, perhaps talking to a builder first before you go to a draftsman or architect. And I just basically said, I think you're probably going to overcapitalise for the cost of this. You could build a whole new granny flat next to it because they've got acres, like they've got plenty of space. You probably look at it doing it this way. And
what'd she say?
Oh, she was just,
I'm so relieved that you said that.
Yep.
because I thought I had that in my mind, and I just thought I've come so far with these plans.
I have to do it.
And she'd sort of said, I've put the pressure on these designers just to make it so it can be built. I'm sick of the time it's taken. So now she's like, I'm so happy. Will you build it for us? I'm like, yeah, we'll look at it, get something drawn up. So just that relief, like just that professional advice that can just make such a difference and put people's minds at ease. Even though she's so disappointed about her experience this far, just like, no, she was just happy to move on and get what she wanted and start designing it and close that chapter and open the new one. So.
And probably know that she's going to get the likes of you both to you're it's like a big warm hug. You're going to wrap your arms around her and just help guide her through the rest. And I think that especially when they've had a poor experience in the past, we've had that a number of times that they will, you want to change that because it's not how everybody does things, and you want people to see that there's a better way of doing it. And I think that's what we've had previous clients as well. That's we've had, the insurance, when we've done some insurance works, because we know that people have had a really poor experience, then that you just really want to help them get into their home and finish off there,
Yes.
It's common, too common.
Few good nuggets to people, I think.
Husband and wife builders, that's the way to go. Nobody else.
I reckon we could probably do another one on this at some point.
Yeah, the more you think.
Going through it.
Absolutely.
Excellent. Thanks, Annie and Louise. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. And I think we've back on overtime there now. So,
well, thanks, guys. Thanks. Lovely to chat, and we'll chat to you soon.
See you guys.
Bye. Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to Builders Beyond Borders. If today's episode helped you feel more prepared, clearer, or more confident, share it with a mate who's planning their own build or reno. Got a question about building, renovating, or working with tradies? Send it our way. We might cover it in a future episode. And don't forget to hit follow or subscribe so you never miss the real stories, practical tips, and builder insights we've got coming your way. Everything shared on this podcast is based on our experiences and those of our guests. It's general info only. Any reliance on the information provided is done at your own risk.